Rapping with journeymen, banter on the dial, talking about life, mile after mile. Food reviews
all right,
and lessons,
testing 1, 2. Hopefully all this stuff is working. Here we go. Just leaving class, actually. We're going over fundamentals of DC electricity, and you know, it's really interesting to finally get to see a little bit under the hood and understand how all of this works.
The letters DC stand for direct current, and it generally means the electrons flow in a single direction. AC stands for alternating current, and it means that the flow of electrons change.
You know, we're all walking, talking batteries, basically, because we're comprised of atoms. And like all things, you know, atoms make up everything. And when you break it down, an atom contains a neutron, electron, and a proton. And it's the electron that is what, you know, is electricity, basically. That's what's running down your wires and back to your battery or circuit, whatever it may be. So it's really interesting to kind of see how the behavior of electrons and how the positive or a negative attract each other, like for example a proton and an electron, or they'll repel if it's two positives or two negatives, which gets you thinking. You know, maybe that's how UFOs travel, or some sort of how do you call it? Propelling. I don't know what the word I'm looking for here, but using two like forces, like two positives or two negatives, and if you activate that, then suddenly, boom, you can go super fast.
Well, if there's anything, it's rotating.
I don't really know. I'm just theorizing out loud here. Anyways, welcome back to Driving with Journeymen. It's a little bit of a different show for a couple reasons. It's a nighttime edition. It's after class, and I'm by myself. That's right. ICE finally got Marvin and sent him back to Mexico. So it's just me now.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm just kidding. Marvin couldn't attend class though.
That's not funny.
Before class, I kid you not, I shot a hilarious 40-minute episode. And of course I'm going to say it's hilarious because it's now deleted.
It's so fucking sad.
Oh my God, see, I'm fucking up already. Jesus fucking Christ. Look at these fucking signs all covered in tagging. Can't even read anything. Christ almighty. So anyways, it was so hot and I was sweating, and this motorcyclist was going on the sidewalk, and it was just like, what the fuck? It was like some Mad Max shit. But it was so hot that my GoPros both turned off. And when I turned them back on, it said that they overheated. Oh well, God had other plans. He didn't want you to watch that. Oh, I gotta catch up here because you guys are distracting me per usual. Let me get the GPS here. Probably should have done that first. But it was so blistering hot, and I couldn't, oh shit, see. I gotta get this fucking GPS, guys. Bear with me. Lord have mercy. Why is it not working? It's always something with these fucking phones. I had an Android, you know, a few months ago, and I honestly think the Android worked a lot better. For some reason, this fucking iPhone always gives me issues with the maps. It's not very map friendly for some reason. Okay, cool. I got my directions. So anyways, I think that through my experience in visual effects, it made me a really good note taker because I'm screenshotting things with my phone. I'm writing notes. I'm adding them with the screenshots in a nice folder.
Oh my God! Wow!
It's just making my homework and studying a lot easier. That's one of the good things I learned through visual effects, through my coordinator days, is the art of taking good notes. So yeah, even though Marvin's not here, I do want to still commit to an episode every week to at least check in with all of you and see how you guys are doing. Nobody ever asks how you guys are doing. How are you guys doing? You guys hanging in there? I hope so, because I know I am. You know, the universe will test you all the time. So the theme of today's episode is the universe testing you. And it always tends to happen when you're at a crossroad, when you finally hit this pivotal moment where you could go one way or you can go the other. And there's a high demand right now for people to work in electrical, even HVAC. The trades in general, there's more jobs than there are people. I was talking to some people in my class and in my math class, and they're in the same boat. You know, some of them. There's this one cat in particular who he just got out of the military after being in there for like 8 years or so. Really nice guy. So, anyways, this guy just joined the union apprenticeship program not even that long ago, and they're paying for all of his school. And a lot of my fellow students are in that position. They're coming from apprentice programs, and they're having school paid for them. So that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. There's a lot of opportunity out there. You just got to look. And you know what? Art, that side of you, your creative side, that never goes away. You can apply that in other areas. For example, like I was mentioning, my background in visual effects when I was a coordinator, just the note taking. I'm applying those skill sets now. You have an upper hand more than you know. And the only way to know that is to take a course about something, and you'll find some sort of common ground as to your old world versus your new world. A lot of skill sets can transfer over.
Hey, fellow road warriors. Whether you're pulling wire, flipping breakers, or just cruising between jobs, you gotta look good doing it. That's where Sancho Merch comes in. Your go-to spot for funny, modern, and straight-up badass apparel. From meme shirts to accessories, they've got the gear to keep you looking sharp on and off the job site. And because you're rolling with Driving with Journeymen, you get 15% off your order. Just use promo code electrician at checkout. So power up your wardrobe and visit sanchomerch.com today. Now back to the show.
So I'm focused. I got these meetings coming up, and I was tested by the universe. I have been applying for work in post-production for a couple years, ever since the last studio I worked for closed down. I worked on 911 for 3 seasons, Mayans, Lakers Winning Time on HBO. There was a lot of shows I've worked on. I couldn't get an interview for the life of me, even with all of my background. So I finally got an interview this morning. I was messaged on LinkedIn by an old colleague of mine who's working for a show on I can't mention the name yet. They're already kind of being testy though. They're talking about like how they don't have a coordinator and
Stop it. Get some help.
These kinds of companies love to, they give you one role and then suddenly they surprise you with, they're gonna pile on new responsibilities onto your plate that isn't even part of your job. And then they won't want to pay you for it. So I'm not willing to do that anymore. I'm motivated. I've got my eye on the ball. The only reason I'm considering taking the gig is because they're okay with me going to school. It's exciting, but they're going to get back to me soon. I'm going to have a meeting with a couple more of the supervisors involved. So the universe seems to always test me and others, I notice, right when you hit a crossroad. I've got my eye on this electrical ball, yet VFX production work is knocking on the door again.
Knock, knock, motherfucker.
This also happened in my life. For example, this well-known metal band, they lost their bass player. They thought of me right away. They called me. They sent me the set list. I was going to fly to Canada to play a festival with them. I turned it down for the new opportunity, which was to join the visual effects studio that would end up hiring me. So I was at a crossroad. I had a job opportunity or to go back on the road. I was invited to participate in a bowling for charity event. It was the Ronnie James Dio Bowling for Cancer charity, and my band was invited. This particular band that was invited is called Others, which actually features Chef Joe as the vocalist. I practically made up a character for my vocalist of the band, and we have a show that's coming out soon called Culinary Quest with Chef Joe. Here's a little preview.
So I've never actually eaten a taco before, so this is my first experience. It's a very different food in England, so... It's not intestine juice or anything, is it? Right. Okay. So, right. So now I'm gonna eat this. So I eat it like this. Oh bloody hell! That's fucking hot.
Wow, wasn't that great? So yeah, my band Others was bowling at this charity event, and you know, it was really cool because the lane next to us was like members of Rage Against the Machine. The lane next to them was members of Rob Zombie, and there was just like a lot of familiar faces there. It was really cool to be part of that, actually. While I was there, I went to the restroom. There was just me and another guy there, and we ended up striking up a casual conversation. And it had to do with, randomly, we started talking about animation. I don't know why. Oh, you know what it was? I might have been wearing a shirt that had Ren and Stimpy on the graphics. And I think he made a comment about it. We were riffing. We were just talking about animation and created a friendship. And so the guy asked me, you know, who I was there with. And I told him I was in one of the bands playing. And he told me that his company was the company making the Ronnie James Dio hologram. That's right, the Ronnie James Dio hologram, which would end up touring with the original members of the group. So it was really cool to like meet someone that was involved in hologram making, because before that, I'd only really heard about like the Tupac hologram, which I don't know if you guys know about, performed at Coachella, like, God, several years back.
Yo, Pop, let these motherfuckers know what kind of party they in right now.
Really cool shit. So yeah, this guy invited me down to his facility. So I was like, okay, this was all new to me, by the way, this CGI kind of world. Before this, I never really knew anything about CGI or visual effects in general. So anywho, my wife and I went down to his facility. And it was so cool. Got to see some of the work they were doing on The Walking Dead. Some of the crowd work, which involves just making multiples of like these CGI zombies, basically. Wound enhancements. Sometimes like on set, they'll shoot like a wound that will be done with like a practical special effects makeup. And they'll ask the visual effects to make it wetter or enhance it in some way or another. I told him that I was going to film school and I was trying to look for work in editorial, wanted to be an editor, and he told me that if work would come up that he would give me a ring. And sure enough, like a few months later, they needed an editor for some commercials they were doing for Star Trek. Star Trek put out a mobile game app called Fleet Command. And this company was in charge of creating all the cinematics to promote the game. So we made about, 5 commercials or so. He actually let me be part of the storyboarding process where I was able to pitch shot ideas. Even when I had the storyboards, I was able to create an animatic, which is a edit using just the storyboards. And you slug in the music, you slug in the sound effects, and what you're doing is you're creating a pacing, a representation, like a blueprint of what the final product is going to be like. And one of these commercials ended up becoming like a nationally played ad. So at one point I was watching my edit, and I was watching The Daily Show on Comedy Central, and then my commercial came up. It was like one of the coolest things. My wife started clapping. It was cool. Look, the only reason I got that job was because I had a conversation with a guy in a bathroom. Okay, you usually don't do that. Like usually you go in there, you go out. But I'm a kind of guy. I wear my heart on my sleeve when I can. If I need to work and be totally pro, sure, I can button it up. But if I'm in a casual mode, sure, I'm gonna strike up a conversation with you. I like to just break the ice with folks. Everyone's got a story to tell, and I like to learn from everybody. And I like to learn what people are doing for work and how they got into it. And yeah, so anyways, I joined his company as an editor. And then I became a coordinator soon after that because they lost who they had. And when I became a coordinator, I got to understand how to work in like an overview mindset where you're looking at each department and you're seeing what they need and you're seeing if they understand the notes that are being given. When I was a coordinator, they'd be doing reviews where they'd be reviewing the work of an artist, and I would translate whatever the visual effects supervisor was saying. I would jot it down, not verbatim, but instead translate it in a more digestible manner. And that's very important. It's very important to not just listen and regurgitate. You need to literally understand what's being said. And that's a good skill set to have in no matter what you're in. When you're in class and you're taking notes, you take the notes in the way that it explains the information best. Whether it's verbatim or translating it to a more easier way. I leave that to you, but that's what you got to do. So anyways, when right before I got hired to do the editing work, I had that opportunity to join that band that I mentioned. And I decided to turn it down. And I remember the feeling being like, fuck, I regret it. I miss playing. I miss this. I miss that. All those feelings. Changing your field is a difficult process. It's not easy. You will have pains. You will have regrets. But in the end, once you make it out that other side, you will be proud of yourself. I was raised by the television, basically. I was watching MTV a lot as a kid. I always thought I'd be on there one day before MTV ended up not playing music videos anymore. And I would watch MTV Cribs. And I wanted to grow so I could one day buy my mom a house. That was always this big motivating factor for me, is I wanted to help my mom. Because I saw everything she went through. And, she's an immigrant. She came from Mexico. I was raised in a house up until the age of 13. When they divorced, it was really rough with my mom. And we ended up going to an apartment. And she had to work minimum wage paying jobs, mainly retail and whatnot. And I always felt so bad because we had a house and then she lost it. And I wanted to give back. And I thought music would be that way. But when I finally got gigs, which by the way, I had to network those too, just like the visual effects thing, in order to get in those big bands, because my bands didn't get signed. I had to join other people's. The only way to find those gigs was to get out there and network. And you might call it networking, but really it's just making friends. So I'd go to gigs. I would try to befriend the bands or the friends of the bands. That's another big way to get into a circle, is make friends with the friends of the ones you want to make friends with. It's a lot of friends word. Make friends with the friends of the friends you want to get with. There's got to be an easier way to say that. But anyways, you get what I'm trying to say. So I got to get over. I'm almost to my destination. Oh, Lord. I hate driving at night. But I really wanted to do a podcast for you guys because I want to fill you guys in on my journey, because I know it's relatable to some of you. I've been hearing some feedback from some of the viewers. There's actually a few people that were in visual effects that are now thinking about pursuing the trade because of just episode 1. So I'm glad I can inspire some of you guys. And hey, look, if you ever have any questions, I'm happy to help. And whether those questions relate to how to get a gig or how to break the ice with someone, or even if it's like dating advice, whatever it is, I've lived a very experienced life. So anyway, I could help you guys. You could write into the show and I will answer as best as I can your questions, or Marvin will attempt to. One of us will try to help you guys out. And you can write to us at drivingwithjourneymen@gmail.com. And I'll leave that email address up so you guys can write in. We'll read your questions on the air here. So yeah, look, the universe will test you guys, and it's up to you how you respond. If you know what you want in life, you can achieve it. You've got to know what you want in life. If you're content with what you have, that's okay. That's the balance of the world. But if you want more and you want to help others, well, you can actually do that. It's all within your grasp. So that being said, it's a bit of a short podcast. My birthday was yesterday. I just got to my destination. My birthday was yesterday. I'm officially 38 years old. And I'm excited to go on this journey with you guys. Thank you guys for joining me on this ride. Love you guys. Make sure you subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps, get the word out. And turn your notifications on so that you can see when there are new episodes drop, which we're going to try to get into the habit of dropping them. Hopefully every Wednesday I'd like to do, but it seems like I'm going to be dropping these every Friday for a little bit. until I can catch up. So yeah, that's the goal. Keep going, guys. Don't quit. I'll see you guys next week. Right into the show. Send us your questions. Follow Don Poncho Films. Check out our shows. Check out our comedy. Check out our stuff that we're doing, our art. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Thank you, guys.